Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome to Behind the Steel Curtain Radio. My name is Bryan Anthony Davis, and you have reached the Steelers' burning question as we go into the final game of the regular season for 2019, and the Steelers have one last chance to make the postseason. Can they do it? Well, we will know approximately, I'd say about 28, 29 hours from now, whether that is a possibility. And we're going to talk all about that today. I ask you to please join in with me today, and I'd love to hear from you. Before we get started, let me give a big shout out. I've learned this from the great Lancelot Williams, as he pays homage to the other people on BehindTheSteelCurtain.com, BTSC Radio, that helps us out all the time, the part of our podcast family. So big ups to Jeff Hartman, one of my partners in crime on the Steelers preview, along with David Schofield as well. Don't forget my hangover partner, one Tony Defio. And then there's Lance Williams too as well. So it's good to see everybody filing in. We have this big question. And the question is, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit, do the Steelers deserve to go to the playoffs? And I'm really passionate about this question because I'm going to already tip my hat right here, tip my cards. You know, I think it's really hard to define the word deserve, and who am I to say if somebody deserves something, if they do something right. But that's a little teaser, I guess. We'll do that teaser. But first off, the Steelers Burning Question is brought to you by BehindTheSteelCurtain.com for all your Pittsburgh Steeler needs. Look, we run about 10 new articles every single day. It's fresh, it's commentary, it's up to the date, breaking news, up to the minute, actually. If something happens, it goes on there right away. So as far as that goes, you got to check it out. There's fun stuff, there's stats. You know, if Dave Schofield's in the house, there's going to be stats all the way from everywhere. So glad to hear from you. I'm seeing a lot of my friends popping up on the board here. That's great. As you can see, I'm late to the party, but I've joined in with my new microphone that I just purchased. So I hope I sound a whole lot better. I have new headphones. So this is a new thing for me. So BTSC Claus sent me all these really nice things. So I'm really excited. So let's get into it. Now, if you want to go ahead, and I know I use that phrase a lot, go ahead, but if you want to go ahead and support this show, all you have to do is hit like and also subscribe. Tell a friend about it. We are so close to that goal of 5,000. Man, I sound like I'm doing a telethon, don't I? That 5,000 goal, I think we are less than 20 subscriptions away from 5K. So that needs to happen. Please tell all your friends about us. If they're a Steeler fan, especially over the holidays, the new year, let them know. If you like the Steelers, check us out. We've got a lot to offer. And I'm seeing all these friends on here. Nap 1963, Slick Rick from Alexandria, Virginia. We have Lexington, Kentucky in the house. Steeler fan number 74, Providence, Kentucky. Reggie Rivers, Solarverse 6. My friends, Logan. Everybody's in the house. Bill Mallory, who's bad. Yeah, he's the first one on today. Thank you for embracing me, and I appreciate everything that you've done. William Mallory says it sounds great. I appreciate it. So we're going to get started here. Tomorrow's a huge game. All right? Tomorrow is the game. And it's fitting that it's against the Baltimore Ravens, your arch rival. If Clark Kent, a.k.a. Superman, is going to go ahead and go up against anybody, you're going to send them up against who? Lex Luthor. Harry Potter's going up against Voldemort. Seinfeld is going up against Newman. You know, that's what's going to happen. If you remember way back in the day, Different Strokes, oh, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. Yes, that show, Arnold Jackson, his arch rival was the Gooch, if you remember that. Deal With It's from New Kensington. I did not know that. Deal With It. That's pretty cool. Rams out of North Carolina. And Bill Mallory is Sag Nasty. Saginaw, Michigan. I love that. Sag Nasty. Logan says, you got to beat the best to be the best. That's a callback to my good friend. Not my good friend yet, but I have a buddy that says he is going to go ahead and introduce me to the great Woo! Ric Flair. And that could happen pretty soon. So I'm hoping one day I want to go ahead and meet that guy. But as Ric Flair says, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. So there you go. Donald Nolan says this: Steelers are 11-0 since 2008 in Week 17 games. Here's the problem: 2007. Guess who that last game of the season was against? Yes, the Baltimore Ravens. So they have a huge winning streak coming in. They started their winning streak in Week 5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they probably want to end the season with it. They're resting a lot of guys, but still, don't think that's an easy road with them resting all these guys. You don't think a guy like RG3 wants to come in and prove how good he is and prove that he could take this team on if Lamar Jackson gets that one bad hit? He wants to prove that he could lead this team. He wants to prove his worth. A lot of guys do. Mark Ingram might not be back. So you need to see guys like Justice Hill on that side of the ball go ahead and run for all they're worth. So that's what we're looking at. But the big question is, and help me out here, listeners and viewers, BTSC family, let's just call you that. Help me out here. Do they deserve to make the playoffs? Look, everybody's saying the loss of the Jets, the loss of the Bills, they don't deserve to get in. I don't agree with that whatsoever. And here's the reason. If you go ahead and beat the Baltimore Ravens and you get help to get in, you deserve to be in the playoffs. You know, let's talk about the word deserve. When you look at it, everybody says deserve in a different way. Everybody deserves a right to be happy. Everybody deserves a right for good fortune. But if you're a horrible person, then you deserve what's coming to you. That's kind of the way it goes. As far as a football team goes, if you have the record that qualifies you for the playoffs, then you deserve to get into the playoffs. Duck Hodges, if he leads them to a victory, he deserves to be there. Paxton Lynch, if he comes in and he gets them there, he deserves to be in. Let's see, Gavin Long disagrees with me. And hey, look, anybody that disagrees with me, I respect. Listen, man, they don't deserve to get in. I can't take you serious. I'm not sure why. If they win, they deserve to get in. There you go. Brett Jones has been disappointed with the play since the game in Buffalo. The desire wasn't there. They were lukewarm. That isn't Steeler football. I understand that. But I'm going to go back to 2005. I was at the ballpark that day watching the Steelers and the Detroit Lions. I actually took a date to the game. The first time I ever took a date to a Steeler game. And that date ended up being my wife now, of 13 years. And it was a really interesting story because she had never really watched football at all. She started watching when she started dating me in that magical year of 2005. But at that game, everybody was talking about how the Steelers don't deserve to get in, and they're not going to do anything if they get in with a 6th seed. Well, the rest is history. So there you go. But as far as everything goes, if they win, they deserve to get in. And I can't say anything more about that. All these players, if they get a chance to, and they come through, they deserve to get in. Alex disagrees with me too. The Jets, we don't deserve to move forward after that. You know, are you telling me? And Ram says the formula is clear. If you have the record to get in, you deserve to get in. Here's the thing. Are you telling me, Alex, and I appreciate you. You've been on the show a lot as far as your comments, and I respect your comments. But you're telling me that TJ Watt doesn't deserve to get in? TJ Watt deserves consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's going to get consideration for it. I don't know with the way Chandler Jones is trending whether he will get in. But They deserve to get in if they make it in. Now, somebody just brought up a really good comment here, and I like this. And but it goes along with what Ram just said about the formula being fair. Everybody plays with it. But somebody brought this up, food for thought, and I lost it here. But it's about the Eagles and the Cowboys. Here we go. Shady Unit says this. So wait, some people don't think the Steelers deserve to get in, but what the Cowboys or Eagles do. Here's the thing. You're a division winner. If you win, you deserve to be in. Those are worse teams than the Steelers. And those are more disappointments than the Steelers because they have not suffered the devastation and the crazy year that the Steelers have. But if they win the division that they're in, it's fair that they get in, and they will get in. One of those teams is getting in the playoffs. Right now, it looks like it's going to be the Eagles. But what I'm saying is, as a wild card, if you're a wild card team, you're besting the other teams that did not get in based on winning a division. So it's harder to get in as a wild card team than a division winner of a bad division. That's what I'm saying there. So look, you deserve to get in. And I'm going to bring this up. This is my man here, Lancelot Williams. If you get in, you deserve it. There you go. Now there is some concern, Lance. You picked the Steelers this week. That scares me. That scares everybody when you pick the Steelers. I like your formula when you were going against the Steelers. It was so much better. But I'm feeling this team. I went ahead and picked against the Steelers. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in this team. It's let's just put it this way. That means I'm not qualified to be a Jedi because I'm living in fears right now. I fear, there's much fear in this man right now. So my midi-chlorians may be off the scale, but even with that being said, there's much fear in me. So I'm not a Jedi. I'm not a Steeler Jedi. There you go. But so back to the deserving thing. Bud Dupree deserves to get into the playoffs. Minka Fitzpatrick deserves to get in the playoffs. David DeCastro deserves to get in the playoffs. Anybody that plays their heart out for that team, no matter what the record, they deserve to get into the playoffs. If Paxton Lynch gets into that game tomorrow and he rallies that team to a win, the men in the hills are going to be singing songs about Paxton Lynch. There you go. I mean, everybody's a part of this team, and if something happens that they win, we're going to be celebrating. We could pick against them. We could say, "Oh, they're not going to win in the with a 6 seed." We've seen 6 seeds win it before. Our very own Pittsburgh Steelers won it before. So I'm putting that to bed. If you disagree with me, please throw it up there. I love it. And Alex disagreed with me earlier, and Alex, you're my guy. I appreciate it. Alex, you say this for everybody, and I'm glad you said this. Just frustrated on how our offense is playing. Yeah, it's awful. I don't know if they can score points against the Ravens the way they've been playing against the Jets and even the Cardinals, against the Bills. Those teams, they haven't scored points. We're mentioning here that Paxton Lynch has only 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions for his whole career. Guys have turned it around. I'm not predicting that he turns it around, but there you go. It's just one of those things that if you're good enough to be in this league, then you get a chance. You could do it. Dill Whitted says the Steelers were the very first team to ever win it all as the number 6 seed. What a glorious year. So, I was telling you, I jump around a lot. You know that I should get tested for adult ADHD because I am all over the place, and this is where I am in my regular life. I just go from subject to subject, a little whirling dervish that way. But getting back to that Detroit game in 2005, when the Steelers had to get help to get in. I believe Kansas City had to beat Cincinnati, or something happened for them to be able to get in, or maybe Cincinnati had to beat Kansas City. Cincinnati was the number 3 seed back then. But so I took this woman. It was New Year's Day, 2006. After that great 2005 season, I asked her to go to this game. I had an extra ticket, and I'd like her to go to Pittsburgh for something that I'm very passionate about, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so she just decided to go with me. And we had been dating I'd say about 6 weeks at that point. And we go there, and she has been watching football, and her family every week, not with me, but every week she's watching football, and specifically the Steelers, to try to understand what it is that I love. And so she goes to the game with me, and we're there. And if you remember, this was a monumental game. They had to beat Detroit to get in. Detroit wasn't a great team, but they had to beat them to get in, and they had to get help. And Jerome Bettis, the writing was on the wall. This was probably his last game ever. Okay? Last game ever at Heinz Field. Last game, home game ever as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Not last game ever. Excuse me. But the next loss would have been his last game because everybody knew he was going to retire. This is when he was talking about every Monday being like a car wreck and how he felt. And at that time, I was understanding that. I was understanding what he felt like, because I had just on my way a few days before, I'd say about 6 or 7 days before. Let's say about 8 or 9. I was driving on, I believe it was on 68, and I was driving to Maryland to meet my wife's parents. I already met my wife, but to meet her parents for the first time. And I flipped and rolled my Ford Escape at the time. It was very windy. I lost control of it. I rolled it. I walked out of it very safe. I can't believe that I walked out of that vehicle, completely totaled it, and it rolled. And when I got out, people were like, did not expect me to get out of that vehicle. And I think this was about the 22nd. So it was about 9 days before this game. So I felt very blessed. But when I heard the bus talk about how every day felt like an accident right after a game, I understood it, because I could hardly move. Just walking around my house because my body seized up. I was bruised. I was banged up. I was so fortunate and so blessed to get out of that accident alive and not seriously injured. So, but the rest of that holiday, I was walking around just basically like Frankenstein. I mean, or the Tin Man. Everything just hurt. So I understood the whole Bettis thing. So how he felt after every game, I'm like, man, I'd hate to feel like that every single Monday. So I could understand that he was closing in on his career, but he wanted to get that last run. So this is way too much background, but we go to the game and they introduce Bus last. They introduce all the starters. Willie Parker comes out. Everybody comes out. And then you hear from Notre Dame, number 36. Let's hear it for Jerome Bettis. And the place goes nuts. They go absolutely crazy. And I'm explaining to her about his career, and she's feeling it. Everybody's going nuts here at Heinz Field. And so as it's going, he gets one touchdown. He probably only had, if you look at the box score, I think he only had about 3 yards rushing that entire game, but he also had 3 touchdowns. So when he got number 3, the crowd just started chanting, "One more year, one more year, one more year." And I'm like chanting, "One more year." And I look over, and at that point, up on the scoreboard, you see Bus, and there's a famous picture where he holds his helmet up to acknowledge the crowd, and it's just beautiful. And they're just, "One more year." And I look over at her, and she's crying. And at that point, I'm like, all right, I have found the woman for me. I've now been married to her almost 14 years. And that's a very special thing to me. So I remember the fact that team had no business, did not deserve being in the playoffs. A lot of people were saying that they just made it in. They were lucky to get in, but they did something. I remember 1989. That team definitely didn't deserve to go to the playoffs. That was a crazy team. Everyone thought they didn't deserve, excuse me, because that's going against what I'm saying. But nobody thought they deserved. The 53 men on that field, Bubby Brister, Greg Lloyd, Dermontti Dawson, Rod Woodson, they believed that they deserved to go. And they went pretty far in those playoffs. That they almost got to the AFC Championship game against what would have been against Cleveland, which would have been absolutely amazing. So, we'll see if they deserve to get in if they win that game. If they win that game, they deserve to get in. And right now, I can't say that any player on that team doesn't deserve to go. I think the coaching staff deserves to go with what they've done with this team. This is not a disappointing season. When we look back, we might be disappointed in the result, whether they get in or whether they don't. But when we look back on 2019, we're going to see a team that started off 1-4, lost franchise players like future Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger, Stephon Tuitt. They lost for a majority of the season. They lost James Conner and Juju Smith-Schuster for a big part of that season. They also lost Sean Davis. So they lost a lot of players, but everybody thought it was over. And I like to talk about this all the time. The reason that they have Minkah Fitzpatrick is the Dolphins did not believe that they were going to do anything this season when Ben Roethlisberger went down. They thought they had a top 5 pick. A lot of people in Steeler Nation thought they had that they just gave away a top 5 pick. I was thinking about this in the shower before I did the show. Unless you cheat, you deserve to get in. I agree, 98671X. I definitely agree. I don't think you deserve to get in if you cheat, but that's hard to keep them out as well. But I'm glad you said that. So here we go. What's going to happen tomorrow? That's the big thing. Can they score points against this Baltimore defense? I'm going to ask you that. Can they score points? This is a tough defense. Now, here's the other question, and please jump in. And if you want to throw in, get to the top of the queue. If you want to throw in on the super chat, please do so. But remember, hit like, hit subscribe. We're so close. We might be, somebody mentioned that we're 4.99K now, so we might be 1 or 2 away. We might be right there from 5,000. And Lance, I hear you, buddy. We're going to go for 6. And I'm going to be, as soon as we get to 5, I'm going to be on that 6 bandwagon, that 6K bandwagon. But I want to get to 5 so bad I can taste it. So be sure to help us out there. But here you go. Is RG3, is there much of a drop off from RG3 from Lamar Jackson? And, yeah, there is. But he plays that style. A majority of that offense knows that style to go ahead and move him forward. So they're not going to be doing not everybody's going to be doing too much different, right? They're not going to do a lot of stuff different. I mean, I know he's not going to be Lamar Jackson, but this is a team that still knows how to win. A lot of the times when these guys rest their starters, and I wish I had Dave Schofield, the stat geek, on here right now, because I would love to see the teams that rest their starters, what their record is in week 17. I mean, we've seen a few times Landry Jones coming in week 17 and winning those games. They weren't pretty, but winning those games. The Steelers have seen, Michael O'Malley says the Steelers have seen him, RG3, a ton of times. 2 years ago, his tendencies are known, but 2 years ago, he could have beaten that team. He could have beaten that Steeler team. He was good enough. Hey, there's Davey Schofield. There's my buddy. Yeah, Dave, I mean, if you know the answer to that, I would love to know that. I'm not sure. I don't know if those teams are that bad that rest those starters. I know week 17 resting the starters is the reason most fantasy football teams stop at week 16. There you go. Wes Hickok. I tell you what, one of the really intelligent guys in our live chat that I really appreciate is Wes. Huge drop off. RG3 isn't as elusive when running. He's also not very accurate throwing. That could be an X factor there too, but he's got a lot to prove though. And he is a lot better of a team. When we've seen him play, when we've seen RG3 play, it's been with the Browns and it's been with the Redskins. So, is he a different player? Definitely. Is he a different player with the Ravens? He could be. McSorley, quarterback rookie from Penn State. Slick Rick says, Ram says he's not on the same planet as Lamar. I get that, but he's going to have the protection. I know he doesn't have Marshall Yanda in there. I know he's not going to have guys like that, but it's still the same scheme. And this is a special team this year as well. I don't know how much of a drop off there really is. I know there's a drop off, but is it enough? Is it really enough for a team with a very bad offense to go ahead and beat this 14-2 super team right now? And I'm calling them a super team is because they're playing lights out. Dill Whitted ask a question here. What do you think of the NFL leaving the KC game in the 1:00 spot, knowing that their game will determine whether the Texans will play to win or not? In those instances, they should move games. Yeah, here's the thing. I am glad that if any game is on at 1:00, it's the Kansas City game. Because I tell you what, they're a team that will rest a lot of players. I have seen Andy Reid. One of the reasons I can't stand Andy Reid is because of the Ryan Suckup game way back in 2013 when the 0-4 Steelers had a chance to make the playoffs, but Ryan Suckup missed that field goal at the end, and the Chiefs played nobody. They did nothing to try to win that game. And I just absolutely hated it. So that was one of those things. And if they win that game, they beat San Diego. Pittsburgh goes to the playoffs that year. And they could have been a very dangerous team that year because they were really coming together. I hate that they're moving games because they want us to stay interested in it. But Houston goes and looks at the scoreboard and they say, well, hey, we can't do anything with it. We're not going to risk Watson. Then, what do they have going for him? I don't even know who the backup is in Houston right now. Somebody help me out with that. I remember it used to be Tom Savage. I know he's not there. I don't think he's there anymore. Who was the Houston Texans backup? Yeah, exactly. I don't even know why. I should know that, but I don't know who that guy would be. So, the Titans and the why move the Titans game then, or why move the Steeler game there too? Oh, really? Matt Schaub is there. Well, Dave's saying AJ McCarron. Somebody else is saying Matt Schaub. Well, it looks like Bo's saying AJ McCarron as well too. Hey, you can maybe AJ McCarron could go ahead and get the job done. Maybe he's playing for a backup somewhere else. Sorry, I'm yelling at children who are yelling and singing in the background. I'm actually motioning, so I do apologize. That's not professional. But there you go. I don't know what's going to go ahead and happen because of that. And if it screws the Steelers, then that's not fair because you're moving these games for that reason, so that everybody has a reason to play. But actually, let me scratch that. You're not moving this so everybody has a reason to play. You're moving this so people have a reason to watch. And that's it. Because here's the thing. People are still going to watch. Titans fans are still going to watch at 4:30. Texans fans are still going to watch at 4:30, just as Pittsburgh fans are going to watch. They're still going to watch at that time. But what they're saying is if you keep one of those games at 1:30 and the one is definitely out, then you're not going to watch that other game because then it means absolutely nothing at that point. So they still get their view. The NFL still gets their viewership. They're happy. They don't care who it messes over. They can care less because they're the NFL. No soda for you, NFL. You're on my list as well. A lot of people asking about Nixon Switzer. Dave Schofield was one of the very few analysts, Steelers analysts, to go ahead and thanks, Nap. Nap says, don't apologize for the kids. I said, but before I started, I said, hey, we've got podcast roles right now. Mom's out right now, and I'm like, we've got podcast roles, so you can't fight. They're not fighting, but they're having fun, so that's fine. But I'm trying to tell them to, please don't invade the podcast. But Nixon Switzer, they can't play, and I did not know this. And Dave brought this up right away that they still have 2 weeks till they're able to play. You have to take them off, and then there's that 2-week window. It has a lot to do with when you're put on that IR, and coming off of it, there's still a window. So there you go. Case in right, you just made me laugh. I tell my girlfriend the same thing. When you're all on, I'm listening. No interruptions. LOL. Podcast rolls, baby. Podcast rolls. But you're right. You're right. Nap. We are a Steeler family, so no apology. This is really funny. I might do this in the off season, but I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she wants to come on the show to do her own segment. And and I laugh every time I'm probably going to let her do this. Hartman might not let me do this, but I might let her do this. She wants to do a segment of which Steelers have the best and worst haircuts. She's 10. She's into fashion. So how funny would that be? I said, if you do it, you're going to have props. You're going to have pictures, pull them up. You're going to have to know what the name of those haircuts are, and you're going to have to tell what they could do better. But so she thinks she has a budding podcast career, and if that gets her interested in the Steelers, there you go. In the off season, we're looking for stuff. Remember, there's no number one pick. We're going to be looking for plenty of stuff. So Michael O'Malley says, bad, that could be great. There you go. Might have the kids on the show. So how are we feeling about this game? It is threat level midnight, and it's all or nothing. There's no James Conner tomorrow. There's no Marquise Pouncey. I tell you what, Matt Filer, it's going to be a big game for him. It's going to be a big game for Big Al. It's going to be a big game for everybody. Who are we kidding? BJ Finney at center. It's going to be a big deal. The Steelers can score against the Ravens, and they showed it in week 5, as Dillwitted is saying. But can they score now? They just have not shown that they can score much tomorrow. Is the defense going to have to come alive for them tomorrow? Yes, they have. They have not disappointed. They've done everything they can. This is one of the best defenses in the league. So that goes back to the deserved question. This defense deserves to go to the playoffs. And this offense, if they can get it together to beat the number 1 team in the league, no matter how depleted they are, they deserve to go. I'm feeling better as I'm watching these comments. I am just worried. Ollie Alrobi. If I butcher your name, I apologize. I'm 18, but my mom is getting worried that I'm losing hair because of this team. I was joking with the fellas the other night. The only genetic lottery I am ever going to win is hair. Everything else, I'm in trouble. Genetically, I'm in trouble, and I feel bad for my kids. But hair, we've still got that, so we're in pretty good good shape there. Ram says he thinks we can get 20 points. How much? Let me ask you this. Help me out in the live chat. How many points or how many turnovers, you tell me, you pick, does the defense need to get to win this game? There you go. Look at Gino from Busan, South Korea. I hope I'm not butchering that. Wow. South Korea in the house. How about that? We are global. Mark Davison always comes in from Australia. We've had Brazil. We've had lots of places, but that's the first I've seen South Korea. I love it. That's no, Ali, you're okay. That's funny. Deal with it. He's not going to be on my daughter's podcast. There you go. People are saying that the Steelers need 18 points to win this game. Because I'm thinking Chris Edwards, United Kingdom in the house. Nice. I'm thinking that you need about, as great as this defense is, I'm still looking at them giving up 14 to 17 points. And think about the Justin Tucker factor here. Justin Tucker is usually in for about 12 points by himself. So if they hold him to one touchdown, that's still 19 points probably. So I'm thinking you need 20. Knapp says they need 10 points off of turnovers. Let me bring that up, Knapp. Not necessarily the defense scores, but setting up real short fields for the O. Ram says field position and how long the D is on the field. Yeah, you can't have them. Offense has got to step up. Offense has to play inspired football that starts with Randy Fietner, starts with the O-line as Chris Taz double eight man. If the O-line has a great day, we will win. I like that. There you go. Tucker, King Me 31. I like this. Tucker is going to kick the ball high. White needs to be ready. Yeah, he does. That's going to be interesting to see how inspired White plays tomorrow as well. I think he's going to play inspired anyways. But now that Switzer is back, even though he cannot play in this game, that puts something on him. Puts the bullseye on him, as well as Deontay Johnson for later on in the playoffs, God willing, if they get that far. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you look at the possibilities, or even for next year. So you need to have great games from those guys as well. Special teams really need to step up tomorrow as well. That means you, Jordan Berry. Jordan Berry needs to have a game tomorrow. There you go. That's what you need. I'm excited for this game, and I just jinx on Michael O'Malley. You owe me a Coke. I'm excited for this game. We said that about the same time. I am pumped. I cannot wait. I hope this is not the last burning question we have going into a Steeler game this year. I'm not ready to. I don't want to stay home for the playoffs. I don't care what team goes to the playoffs. I want them in the playoffs. Like I said, Mike Tomlin believes in this team. The Steelers believe that they deserve to be there. Steelers are going to have to play lights out to get there on offense, and the defense is going to have to do what the defense does. Reginald Rivers, I like that. Never going to happen, but let me pull this up. I wish that Roger Goodell, not that. I wish that Roger Goodell would forfeit the Patriots season and the Steelers will get into the playoffs. I wish that too. Never going to happen. And remember, it doesn't matter how you get there. It just means that you get there. I'm not saying cheat. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, remember when we talk about, winning ugly, the record could be ugly, but once you're at the dance, you have a chance to win that dance contest. Wes Hickok will be wearing his TJ Watt jersey tomorrow, and that's going to segue into, before we sign off, it was Christmas. We had the holidays. Whatever you celebrate, I'm sure gifts came your way. We're hoping for a gift for the Steelers tomorrow. We're hoping for a gift for Steeler Nation tomorrow. I'd like to know who got Steeler stuff. If you got a Steeler gift, let me know. That would be fun to talk about. That's a fun thing. If I got a Hallmark ornament for my sister, Juju Smith-Schuster. I got a Steeler vest, a winter vest as well. I always get a lot of Steeler stuff because people know to go ahead and get that for me. I did not get any jerseys because I just buy my jerseys myself. But so if you got anything cool Steeler wise for Christmas, let me know. Gino got his Myron Cope official terrible towel. That's really awesome. Was that sent to you, Gino? That's Steelers Pittsburgh got the Steelers travel cup. Wes got a TJ and a Juju jersey. I gave a lot of jerseys for Christmas because I am the jersey guy. Michael O'Malley got a doormat and a storage bin. West Coast is the reason I was laughing. West Coast Steelers fan got a Steeler bong. Okay. Let's see. Nap 1963 got a brand new TJ Color Rush. She's going to the game. That's awesome. Going to the game in Bmore. I had a chance because I'm not too far from Baltimore, and that's I decided not to go to the game since I went a few weeks ago. I love this. Johnny, my new granddaughter, got her first terrible toddler towel. Both my kids within 10 minutes of being on this earth were wrapped in a terrible towel. One of the nurses came in wearing Ravens shoes and gave my son a shot. And I said, son, you could see a Raven fan might try to make you cry, but you got to be tough. That's what I told him. My poor kid wasn't even a day old, and I'm already infecting him with disliking the Ravens. And so he's not a big football guy, but one thing I'm proud of is he talks a lot of smack. This is awesome right here. I just read half of it, but I think bad. Hey, my daughter got my new grandson a terrible towel. He was born yesterday. Jacoby DeWine Green. Congratulations, Mitchell. That is so awesome. We've got a new Steeler fan. Jacoby. Fantastic. I love it. God bless your family, Mitchell. That is the best gift. He might have a terrible towel being that might be his gift, but Jacoby is a gift to Steeler Nation. Congratulations. I'm so glad he's here. Gavin Long, Hollywood Brown and Ronnie Stanley jersey. Hey, so now I know where you came from earlier. I get it. You're a Ravens fan. Welcome to the show. Welcome. I'm glad you tuned in. Look, respect the Ravens for what they do. They've got a great team. I hope we beat you tomorrow, but thanks for being on the show and being cool. Enjoy that jersey. Enjoy the Hollywood Brown jersey and the Ronnie Stanley jersey. Those are going to be fun. Hass H got an official Bryan Anthony Davis BTSC jersey. I didn't realize. I thought he was talking about the t-shirt. Oh wow. That's really funny. Alex Flores says all this talk about newborn baby is making me want one for Steeler Nation. So Alex, get to work on that. You could have one for opening day. Get to work now. Like Johnny Fever said in they asked Johnny Fever if he had any kids this woman asked him if he had any kids in WKRP in Cincinnati, and he says, "Give me 9 months, we'll see what we can do." There you go. So go to it. So here we go. It's going to be a big one tomorrow. Let's see. Oh, Frank is asking me this question. Where did I get my Bradshaw jersey? I got this, I got this a number of years ago from somebody that was buying them from overseas, and then I started getting them myself from overseas. I purchase all my jerseys, and I've been getting them, and I sell some for fun. And so how I get my jerseys now is when somebody buys a jersey, I buy one for myself. And I just got one just like this LC Greenwood, which I've worn on the show as well. I'm just a jersey guy. I have some I wore the Richard Huntley jersey on the show once. I have some obscure jerseys. Yes, I own a Jarvis Jones. Oh, you thought this was a 72. If it was a 72 and it had this patch on it, would be Jerry Moon Mullins, which I would wear. I would love that jersey. Slick Rick, I was going to segue into this. I like this. Yes, I thought Terry Bradshaw should have made the quarterback list. But here's the thing. You put 10 all time, and I guess the bias against Bradshaw is all the weapons he had. I don't agree with that. He should have made the list. That's what I think, and I think a lot of them do. But a guy like Terry Bradshaw doesn't care whether he made the list or not. He knows his accomplishments. Steeler Nation knows his accomplishments. The NFL knows his accomplishments. So, I thought he should have been honored on that list. I thought a lot of guys should have been honored. And I like how Wes just said Greenwood. Heck yeah. That's a guy. Now, this is, if you ask about a list that he should have made and he didn't, a guy should have made, Greenwood should have made that list. And I'm emphatic about it, to be on the one of the finalists for the Hall of Fame, for the Veterans Committee, for the Legacy Committee, as far as I'm concerned. I really, really think that LC Greenwood was one of the greatest of all time. He's playing next to Joe Green. He should have not been passed by because of that. LC Greenwood, one of the greatest of all time. I had a chance to meet him when I was 8 years old. Great person as well. Oh man, I'm still upset that he did not make it. He really deserved as well. I don't give out my information of where I get my jerseys. However, if you want to private message me, you can go ahead on Twitter, at BTSC BAD, or you can go ahead and get a hold of me at stmyron@gmail.com. Yes, St. Myron. And it's St. Myron because of the great Myron Cope. That's why I put that on there. So, feel free to get a hold of me. I would do that. But as far as everything goes, this has been a lively conversation. I feel much better about this game just talking to you. This is our Steelers support group. This is awesome. So remember, hit like, hit subscribe, hit that bell, ring that bell, do the Anita Ward, ring my bell, ring my bell. Number one from 1979. 1979 was a great year in Pittsburgh Steelers history. You know that. So there you go. Ring that bell. Then you'll get notifications. You'll know every time we come on here, every time Jeff, every time Lance, Tony, myself, Dave, Big Bro Sco, anytime any of you guys, those guys are on here, it's gonna ring that bell. You get the notification. You can check it out. So here we go. We're that close. It's 4:26. We are 23 hours and 59 minutes away from game time. It is going to be a big one, my friends. I cannot wait. Frank Crooker says Steelers 20, Ravens 14. I'm wavering. I'm going back to the Steelers side, thinking that you guys have me believing more that it's going to happen tomorrow. So let's hope it happens. with that being said, I love you, Steeler Nation, BTSC Nation. You're our family. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your world and you being a part of mine. I appreciate it. Everyone's asking of Gavin's. We're going to stay on if Gavin wants to give a prediction. And hey, check this out, Gavin. Being a Ravens fan, you expected to probably come on and us be jerks to you. No, man, we're an NFL family too. There's my rule. I talked about this the other night. I don't care who comes into my living room as long as they don't pee on my couch. That's how I feel about another team supporters in Heinz Field. That's how I feel on the podcast. Thank you for not coming in and doing the seagull thing, pooping all over the place and checking out. You were a classy Ravens fan, and I appreciate you. So with that being said, thank you so much, Steeler fans, BTSC fans. Knapp wants me to balance out the Lance jinx. So I'm going to stick with the Ravens. I'm going to stick with that just to balance it out. And I've had some success picking against the Steelers this year. I really have. So let's go ahead and continue to do it. But that's what my head's saying. But you know what my heart's saying too. Go Steelers. So Charles Pinkett's a Ravens fan. Hey, look at this. He thinks the Steelers are going to win. Thanks for being cool, Charles. Wes welcomes you to the show too. I appreciate it. So checking out now. We're going to have a great one. Be sure to check out BTSC for the inactives. Dave will have that right before the game. For bold and bizarre predictions, for anything pertaining to this game as we go. There's going to be so much on behindthesteelcurtain.com. We're there for you. You're there for us. We love you, Steeler Nation, BTSC Nation. Love this family. Let's be celebrating tomorrow with Lance and Jeff on the post game. Let's hopefully that's going to be a big one. With that being said, thank you, Steeler family. Good day, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are. Let's go, Steelers.